From Oscar W. Gustafson Field in Goshen, it's the Time Warner Cable 6 Game of the Week. Today, the Goshen Gladiators play host to the Washingtonville Wizards. Good evening, everybody. Tony Marino and Rick Schultz here with you once again on Game of the Week. The Goshen Gladiators, in their first year at the Class A level, they're off to a 2-2 start, and they're going to step up a class, at least today, to take on the Washingtonville Wizards of Class AA. They are 0-4, looking for their first win, and we'll begin with the Wizards. And really little experience on the front line, but they do have a lot of experience in third-year starter Josh McElroy.
The big guy is Josh McElroy. Not only big, what he means leadership-wise, but also big because he's huge. He's over 300 pounds. They like to run the ball. They like to mix in the pass quite a bit during the game, but none of that can happen unless Josh McElroy does the job blocking, and he has been very good so far this year.
Josh McElroy has been good. We mentioned the experience with him on that front line. Well, we go over to Goshen, and what a difference a year makes. Last year, Pete St. Lawrence was a senior quarterback. Really, everything was geared towards St. Lawrence here at Goshen. This year, they've got a sophomore quarterback in Nick Turry, and they just ask him to go out there and be a quarterback. Don't put all the pressure on your shoulders.
Guiding a run offense is not easy for a sophomore, but he has done a very good job, especially being consistent. That's not an easy thing to do for a sophomore. They don't expect him to make big plays. He doesn't have to be a superstar. All he's got to do is be consistent, have a calming influence, and he's done a nice job.
Well, Goshen has won 2 in a row. They carry a little momentum in this game. Washingtonville, as we mentioned, they are 0-4, but both ways for each team, it's a big game.
Being that it's homecoming, you know, it's a lot, means a lot to the school and everything. You know, my past 3 years, we've won all the homecoming games, so I'm really looking forward to, you know, coming out and giving a good effort and really, you know, coming out with a victory for this game.
Washingtonville runs a 5-2 defense, and they got a multiple set offense. They run kind of a wing T type offense, and then they'll spread you out and they'll try to throw the ball. The quarterback, Lopez, is fantastic. I mean, I think in the last week he must have thrown for 250, 260 yards. They got a great running back in Bell, and they got a lot of size up front, which is going to be something we're really going to have to deal with.
I think this game means a lot to us as far as the way our season has begun. This is a way to right the ship, to turn things in the right direction, and turn the second half of our season into a positive. Take each game one step at a time, and even each play, each series, each one step at a time.
Look at it like every other game. Just got to come in here and just work as hard as possible, try to get this W.
Well, the Wizards will go for their first, and the Gladiators will go for their third in a row. We'll be back with the kickoff. Right after this, you're watching the Time Warner Cable 6 Game of the Week.
You know how cold winter can be. Our advice is head north to North Star Energy, your winter headquarters for energy savings. Pellet stoves, gas stoves, wood stoves, gas fireplaces, wood fireplaces, fireplace inserts. We have great service and a beautiful selection of stoves and fireplaces. So head north to North Star Energy, your winter headquarters for energy savings. North Star Energy, Route 211 East, Middletown.
Get your Toyota at Johnson's Toyota.
New vehicles, like the Camry or Sienna.
Certified pre-owned. Choose from coupes, trucks, or SUVs.
Rentals, minivans for that big family vacation.
So for whatever reason, for your next vehicle, try Johnson's Toyota.
In Middletown and Monticello.
Get your Toyota at Johnston's Toyota.
The confidence to smile, the desire to smile, the ability to smile, a reason to smile. If you want a new smile, call Doctors Massey and Hale. They will show you what your smile could look like in just 2 visits. You will be thrilled with your new smile. You'll have more confidence, feel better about yourself, and have a new reason to smile.
Call Massey and Hale today for a free consultation or visit their website at areasontosmile.com. Call Massey and Hale, and soon you too will have a reason to smile.
It's obvious smoke doesn't stay in the smoking section. It's time for clean indoor air. For more information, contact Sullivan County Tobacco-Free Coalition.
Gustafson Field here in Goshen. The Gladiators won the toss, deferred, so the Wizards will receive here to open the first half, and J.D. Van Grol will handle the kicking duties for the Gladiators, who entered this game at 2-2. 2 consecutive wins, first over Sports Science Academy, and then a win here last week against the Saugerties Sawyers. Homecoming here, as you may have heard in the pregame for the Gladiators, and a pretty good crowd on hand. Van Grol gets the kick away. It's a high kick, and it's taken at the 21-yard line by the Wizards' Miguel Diaz. Diaz still on his feet, turns the corner out over the 35 to the 40. Still on his feet, down the right sideline, knocked out of bounds at the 36-yard line, taken out of bounds by Aman Sadiq. So a big return there by Diaz, and the Wizards get themselves in great starting position.
A lot of credit to Diaz for keeping his feet moving and not giving up on that play. Goshen wanted to eliminate the bad mistakes. They made one right off the bat.
Lopez, Ionino, Bell, McCollum, Simaluka, and Morrow there for the Wizards. They are the playmakers, and up front, we talked about this in the pregame, the starting line. Josh McElroy will anchor that line. He's at the right tackle. Oliver, Flanagan, Vincent, Hubbard also in there for the Wizards, who go to work. Here goes Lopez. Morrow in motion, coming to the right. Handoff goes to the right and caught in the backfield and dropped for a loss is Dane Bell.
Nice penetration by the line and the backers that time for Goshen. They stopped that play before they even got it started.
So a loss of 2 on the play brings up a 2nd down and 12 from the 38-yard line of Goshen for the Wizards. Lopez puts this Wizards squad to work. Just the junior is Lopez. You see some action last year. Backs are split. In motion comes Simaluka to the right. Lopez going to put it up, looking to his left. Got a receiver, and it's caught. Ricky McCallum is checked into the game, brings it down, and it's a 1st down to the 22-yard line.
If you can get the ball in his direction, he will more likely than not make the catch. He's got great hands and great athleticism.
Here's the Goshen defense that they're staring at. Payne, Peterson, Gambuti, Signorelli, the captain up front. Huddleston, Dembeck, Foot, and Bolvale for the linebackers, and Sadiq, Wadowiak, and Razavi, your safety there for Goshen's defense. So here come the Wizards on the attack. 1st and 10 at the Goshen 24-yard line. Lopez, long count. He'll go to inside to Simaluka. Simaluka takes the inside handoff from his split end position and picks up about 2 on the play. Bring up a 2nd down and 8 for the Wizards.
Absolutely perfect football conditions, huh, Tony?
Just a gorgeous day. 80 degrees in October. You don't get too many of those days. And they will take one here today in Goshen at Gustafson Field. Their homecoming, and no better way to celebrate homecoming on a beautiful afternoon of football. Lopez will put him to work one more time. Ionino and Dane Bell split in the backfield. McCollum flanked out to the left. Lopez looking to the right, and that was McCollum out to the right, rather, and threw it behind McCollum. Good coverage there for the Gladiators. And in on the coverage was Wadowiak from that left cornerback position.
Both of these teams spent much of the latter part of this week preparing for a game that could be wet, could be sloppy, because there was a lot of talk of some wet precipitation today as opposed to dry precipitation, right? But the teams now with a pleasant surprise that the track is nice and they don't have the rain and the wetness.
So a 3rd down and 8 now for the Wizards. First adversity they've faced in this game. Bell, the lone back. McCollum split to the left, top of your screen. Lopez looking to the right, though. Looking end zone. Got him, and Simaluka catches, and it's a touchdown for the Wizards. Phil Simaluka hauls it in from 21 yards out, and the Wizards put a 6 up on the board here just 2 minutes and 5 seconds into the game.
The junior, 5'8", 155. Nice catch as he ran a terrific route to the right corner there, and a perfect pass from Lopez.
And the extra point try, it's a 2-point conversion. McCollum hauls it in. Had one of those against Warwick, I do recall, and it's 8-0 now. Washingtonville on top. Here's the touchdown. Simaluka, just a well-placed throw there by Lopez, and Simaluka able to haul that one in.
He did a nice job keeping his feet in bounds as well, as he was right near the right sideline. He knew where it was, kept the feet inside the line, and now they're up 8-0.
So not off to the way Chip Elliott had hoped here for the Gladiators. They trail 8-0. Just 2 minutes, 5 seconds gone by. So deferring the kickoff really cost the Gladiators there, because Washingtonville put their offense out there and went to work quickly. Put up the touchdown, and one thing we can tell already is Lopez can throw the ball. You know, Washingtonville came into this season kind of with not a quarterback controversy, but 3 guys vying for the position, and Lopez won out really over Alex Reyes. And Lopez is getting the confidence and performing better and better each week, says Dan Stadler.
He threw for 190 yards in the 4th quarter last week alone.
Beauvalet back to receive deep for the Gladiators, and handling the kicking duties is Simaluka for the Wizards. Catches a touchdown and kicks it away. It's taken by the up man at the 20, out over the 30, out over the 35, and taken down there, and that's where the Gladiators will go to work for the first time on offense today. On the return that time for Goshen was Aman Sadiq. So Simaluka the reception, and that was the scoring drive there for the Gladiators. Or excuse me, for the Wizards. Check myself. Chip Elliott had hoped it was for the Gladiators, but they're going to try and put one together here. So here goes the sophomore quarterback at work. Backfield, out of the eye, with Dowiak and Dembeck. Turi calls the snap, hands it off, up the middle. And with Dowiak on the carry, and he's stuffed after a pickup of about 4 on the play.
But Dowiak played with the team last year, over 300 yards on the ground. And Turi's going to be the guy that if he just keeps composed and gets the ball to the right back, their offense will run smoothly.
Pick up a 4, 2nd down and 6 for the Gladiators. A trail 8-0 very early on, 2 minutes, 40 seconds gone by in the first quarter. Lopez to Phil Simaluka, the scoring strike for the Wizards. Turi calling the signals. Backfield of Dembeck and Wadowiak, and either movement or delay of game, and it's a false start against Goshen. That'll push him back. Bring up a 2nd 11. Here's your starting offense for these Goshen Gladiators, who once again enter the game at 2-2. Up front, that front line, Huddleston, Drake, Poland, Hannigan, Signorelli, and Sirigliano. And then here's your skill position players, as they say, Razavi, Protzko, Wadowiak, Dembeck, and the sophomore, Nick Turi. They break the huddle and go to work on 2nd down and 11 from their own 35-yard line to the Gladiators. Dembeck and Wadowiak out of the eye in the backfield. Handoff goes, no, it's a pitch, a little option run by Turi. Wadowiak's got a little room. He's got a 1st down and a little bit more as he breaks out near midfield, just short of midfield at the Goshen 48-yard line.
Goshen with 4 running backs that they utilize, and right there, Turi made a fine decision to get it to the right guy.
Starting defense for the Wizards, Iannino, McElroy, Drescher, Coleman, and Foley up front. Hubbard, Zappilli, and Blaine, your starting linebackers, and the defensive backfield for the Wizards, Reese, Schrader, and Van Cece at the safety position. Washingtonville doesn't like to go 2 ways with too many players. See McElroy in there right now, the right tackle, handoff, going to the right, and trying to turn the corner. And getting to the outside is Beauvalet. And didn't quite turn the corner, but did pick up about 3 yards on the play. Bring up a 2nd down and 7 for Goshen. Well, Goshen was able to come out and at least get a 1st down. You don't want to go 3 and out. So Goshen was able to at least stay in this game for early going. They know if they get behind quickly that it can be a snowball effect with that talented Wizards team over there. Even though they're 0-4, they're 0-4 against some pretty tough teams.
You see Beauvalet being strung out to the right side. They've been able to get their 4 running backs involved in the first drive, and I think that's important.
Reese made the tackle. Zappelli really forced him to the outside. 2nd and 7. Turi calling the signals. Inside handoff goes to Dembeck. Dembeck inside Wizards territory a little bit more. Brings it down to the 47-yard line. We'll call it a 3rd down and 5 for Goshen.
Although Washingtonville lost last week to Middletown 25-12, Dembeck had a very strong game. Or rather, Dan Stadler said that Dembeck Chip Elliott was very impressed with Dembeck. Both coaches brought that up yesterday, saying he's a guy in their offense that is key. And Washingtonville's head coach Dan Stadler said that he was a main focus when they wanted to plan defensively.
Rosavi's flanked out to the left. In motion comes Protzko to the near side. Rolling is Turry to sophomore. He's got a receiver, and it's caught. Out to the left, short of the first down. And the reception was made by Wadowiak. So Wadowiak getting in here on the action. Let's see what Chip Elliott elects to do. We could play field position here, punt the ball, and hope he gets good coverage, or it could go for it on a 4th and short. I think it really depends how the Gladiators are going to look at this game. Do you play it like nothing to lose playing a AA school, or do you just try and keep your team in this game early on? I think that Chip Elliott kind of has a little bit of both coming into this game. Feels his team can compete. And a timeout taken by Washingtonville. So a 4th and short, and the Gladiators look as if they're going to go for it. The punt unit did not come out there. So a timeout on the field. 7:23 to go first quarter. We'll take a quick timeout. You're watching the Time Warner Cable 6 Game of the Week.
Oh, that's brisk, baby. Cut! What's the problem?
There's a new Lipton brisk that tastes so good it sells itself.
So?
So you puppets are fired.
Nobody fires DeVito. I don't care how good it tastes.
The puppet community is up in arms today over the unexpected firing of the much-beloved Lipton characters.
Off the record, we should be fired. The stuff sells itself.
Oh, that's the story here. New brisk tastes so good, it sells itself.
When looking to fill any of your insurance needs, look no further than Marshall & Sterling Insurance, the Hudson Valley's insurance leader, providing our clients a remarkable history of service and dedication since 1864. From the phonograph to the compact disc, from prairie travel to space travel, Marshall & Sterling has shown the way. Home, health, life, business, or auto. Call your local Marshall & Sterling office today or log on to marshallsterling.com. The Hudson Valley's oldest and most recognizable name for insurance, Marshall & Sterling. Our people are your best insurance.
4th and short for the Gladiators. Handoff goes to Dembeck. He's got the first down and brings it down to the 36-yard line. A huge play by Joe Dembeck Jr. And the Gladiators have a first down, and now we can call this a drive.
Dembeck is a superb blocker. He's a tough, intense runner. And that time he got a big first down here in the first quarter for Goshen.
Brings up a 1st and 10 at the 36 for the Gladiators, who trail 8-0. Rob Lopez to Phil Simaluka, a 22-yard strike. The touchdown for the Wizards on their opening drive, and the Gladiators trying to answer back. Turry with Dembeck and with Beauvalet in the backfield. Sent a man in motion to the left. It's Protzko. From the left to right, and movement up front. False start against Goshen. Second false start of the game. So 1st and 15 now for the Gladiators.
Well, this Goshen team has made quite a few mistakes early on in the season, and also here a couple penalties in this game. Last week against Saugerties, they had 2 plays of more than 35 yards called back due to penalties, and they know they can't afford to do that to pick up a win here today.
Turry takes the play in. A couple inserts into the Goshen lineup. Brett Smith checks in, along with Aman Sadiq. Sadiq splits out, flanks out to the right. Smith at the split end position goes in motion from left to right. Split backfield, Turry rolling left. Turry out. Is he going to be sacked? Yes, he is. The ball came loose, but they'll call him down. And great pressure. Looked like the defensive backfield could have been a blitz coming in there from the Wizards, and in the backfield that time was Bill Foley from the defensive end position.
Seemed like everybody in the line was over there to chase him, but good decision not to toss the ball away and have it picked off. Right there you saw Chris Coleman, the guy that actually tripped him up. But a lot of inexperienced guys, sophomores, would have just chucked that away and bad things could happen. Turry didn't do that.
So now Goshen with 2nd and very, very long. They've got about 30 yards to go for a first down. They need to get to the Washingtonville 26-yard line for a first down. They're sitting at their own 47. 42 rather. Handoff goes to Wadowiak. He's got room. He smells the first down. And I tell you what, he smells a little bit more. It's called the end zone. Touchdown, Gladiators. No flags. It's a 57-yard run by Oscar Wadowiak, and the Gladiators answer back. How about that? It was second down and 33.
So important to get this crowd back in their favor. And they didn't waste any time. After the initial scoring drive by Washingtonville, Goshen came right back and they returned the favor. Now let's see if they go for two or go for the kick.
Elliott puts the special teams out there, and now they're going to call a timeout. I think some of the Goshen players were confused as well as to what they were going to do. So Goshen calls a timeout after the touchdown run there by Wadowiak, which we will take another look at. Wadowiak just hit the hole, got to the outside, and, well, he beat the defense down the sideline. Inside handoff there, looked like a little counter, and got to the outside, and once he got to that sideline, he just outran the defense. So with Wadowiak in for the score, it's 8-6, 5 minutes, 21 seconds to go here in the first quarter. That's what it took for Goshen. 8 plays, 64 yards in 3 minutes and 27 seconds, and the extra point try is ensuing.
Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys.
Well, Goshen did what they had to do. I mean, if they're going to try and go punch for punch here with Washingtonville, that's a good way to start out.
They got everybody involved offensively, all the runners. Turi did a fine job. And now let's see what happens on the attempt.
They're going to go for two here, Turi. They'll go with 3 backs this time. Dembeck, Beauvalet, and Beauvalet takes it. Beauvalet running to his left after he went inside, and he is stopped. So the extra point try is no good. It remains an 8-6 lead for Washingtonville.
Nice defense that time by the Washingtonville guys up front. They smelled it to the right side, moved towards the right, and kept them out of the end zone. Looked like Bill Foley was in on the initial hit.
So a breakdown there on the Washingtonville defensive side of the ball. We talk a little bit more about this defense now for Washingtonville. They do not like to have too many two-way players. You and I both talked to Dan Stadler about that and what he's trying to do. And I think it's more an eye for the future in doing that is when you get late in games, you kind of hope that your guys aren't running out. And if we count up their guys, there are really maybe 3 or 4 guys that play both ways. And any coach will tell you that's just a dream, and it's easier to do at, say, the Class AA level than it is for, say, Goshen, who is just 3 above the A mark, to do.
And when Coach Stadler instituted that policy, a lot of the team was unhappy because they enjoyed and they took pride in playing both ways. But now that it's gone a few games, they realize the benefits. And also it gets a lot of guys involved that normally might not play, so your team morale, team unity is much stronger.
J.D. Van Grohl will kick it away for the Gladiators. Kicks it to the right, so they're staying away from Bell here early on. Diaz takes it at his own 10-yard line, out near the 20-yard line. It's torn down there by Beauvalet. Gary Beauvalet with the tackle. Good special teams coverage there from Goshen, especially Beauvalet getting downfield. He's quick.
Very nice. He came from the right side of the field, swooped across to the left, and made a nice wrap-up tackle.
Diaz was trying to get to the outside there, and Beauvalet just came around and he stayed with the tackle. He started high, and when he came down low, he stayed with it. So Miguel Diaz on the return of 9 yards there. 1st and 10 at the 18 for Washingtonville. So Lopez will put him back to work. So after getting great field position on their first return, the opening kickoff, the Wizards backed up a little bit here at their own 18-yard line. Backfield, a Bell and Ionino split. McCollum flanked out to the left. Simaluka in motion. He takes the handoff, gets around the outside. And if you haven't met Simaluka yet, you might want to write his name down. Out near midfield into Goshen territory at the 49-yard line. He's got a touchdown reception, and you can throw in that 33-yard run.
They can do so many things and mix it up with the run, the pass, use some of their receivers to run. And this time Simaluka broke through the line of scrimmage that time and got to the right with a few nice blocks.
Now his hole was missing out there. He was supposed to stay inside the tight end and then the wide receiver out there to block, and he noticed the hole was closed, slid himself to the outside and did a great job. 1st and 10 at midfield for the Wizards. They lead 8-6, 4 minutes, 50 seconds to go. Clock running here in the first quarter. Backfield of Ionino and Bella split. Simaluka goes in motion. Handoff goes Well, that's not Bell in the backfield. Instead on the carry is Ionito, and Ionito is brought down and dropped for a loss. Good coverage there by the Goshen defense. And on the tackle that time was Joe Dembeck, all by his lonesome.
Goshen not mixed up on that counter play. They've come right back after Washingtonville scored early and looked very convincing in doing so. Goshen has come back and they've done some nice things here in this first quarter.
They faked a handoff to Bell, and Ionito tried to turn the corner, and Bell kind of missed his block there, and that left Ionito hung out to dry. So this time we'll go with Bell, all by his lonesome in the backfield. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. That's McCollum. In motion, Simaluka coming to the right. Lopez rolling out, flips it back to McCollum. McCollum on a reverse. McCollum tries to cut in, and all over for Goshen is Dembeck once again. 2 consecutive tackles by Joe Dembeck and 2 consecutive losses for the Wizards. Well, Dembeck, the coaches tell him stay at home. He stayed at home, fought off his blocker, and made the tackle.
Exactly right, Tony. Very good fundamental defense. When McCollum gets in the open field with the ball, watch out. But very good defensive mindset that time, like you say, to not leave your position and be able to make a tackle.
McCollum was looking for that block from Jimmy Oliver. If he was able to hold up Dembeck, McCollum had a lot of green there on that left side. Couldn't turn the corner. 3rd down and 14 now for Washingtonville. Bell once again by his lonesome. Simaluka in motion near side. Lopez, deep drop, set up a little screen out to the left for Bell, and that's incomplete. Blockers were way downfield, so Bell did have some room, couldn't haul it in. He really had one man to beat even if he caught the ball. And the Wizards going to be forced to punt for the first time this afternoon on 4th down and 14 from their own 46. So Goshen's defense makes a stand here after the offense is able to put up a touchdown.
And that ball was nearly picked off over there. A couple defenders for Goshen. Last week, just 1 turnover for this Washingtonville offense, as opposed to 7 in their opening game of the year. They've improved.
Simaluka back at his own 34 to punt. He's going to anchor it to the right. A flag is down on the play. And a beautiful kick by Simaluka, but it goes into the end zone for a touchback. But they'll sort out this penalty, and it's against Washingtonville.
False start, the call on Washingtonville.
The official, Jim Liney, makes the call. So a false start against the Wizards, and that'll push him back another 5 to a 4th and 19. And either way, the punting unit is going to stay out there. Goshen's going to hope for a better kick, or returnable kick anyway.
When they return this ball, Goshen is looking almost into the sunlight when they're trying to make this catch as the ball is coming down to them. So that may play a factor in this ball game.
Mentioned the crowd on hand. Homecoming weekend here in Goshen. Amon Sadiq and Beauvalet back to receive for the Gladiators at their own 15-yard line. Simaluka at the 29 to punt it away. Angling it to the right. He's going Beauvalet's way, and Beauvalet is going to take it at the 15. Back pedals. Great coverage by the Wizards all over at that time. And leading the way for Washingtonville was Johnny Reese. Nothing on the return there for Beauvalet that time, and it looks like he may have lost that ball for a second in the sun after the hop. So you mentioned the sun there, and I think it definitely played a factor.
The only way really to prepare for that is just experience. Just by doing it over and over, you get a feel where the ball's going to be and kind of what angle you need to take to look at it in the air.
1st and 10 at the 12 for Goshen. They trail 8-6, 2 minutes, 47 seconds to go first quarter. Backfield with Dembeck and with Dowiak. 2 flankers, Protzko and Razavi split out to the right. Turi, long count, hands it off to Dembeck. Dembeck running over tackle, out over to 15 and stopped at the 16-yard line.
I remember about 10 years ago, after Brian Bosworth broke into the NFL, a lot of the style, even in the high school level, was the visor shaded glass on your helmet there. But a lot of teams, especially high schools, didn't like it because it has a tendency to fog up. So that's why and plus a lot of schools don't allow that kind of thing because many of them look at it as showboating or, you know, kind of equipment they didn't want in their program.
The eye block, you do see some players use, although I don't see any players out there today with eye block, and that might help with the sun in your eyes.
Glad to see you put it on today, too.
Dembeck and Wadowiak out of the eye. Turry flips it out to Wadowiak, who's running backwards and better be careful. He's tiptoeing along the goal line, and he was able to get back out to the 5-yard line. Anxious moments there for the Gladiators. Wadowiak tiptoeing on the goal line. It's almost taken down for a safety.
That's like when you're headed out in your very nice shoes and you're walking tippy-toeing next to that puddle. You don't want to fall in there because the results will be disastrous. And right there, that could have been. He was about 2 inches from being in the end zone, and that could have been disastrous.
Give credit to John DiGregorio there, who just broke through the line and forced Turry to kind of flip that quicker than he wanted to. So 3rd down and call it 16 for Goshen. He's backed up at their own end zone. Beauvalet and Dembeck in the backfield. Handoff goes to Beauvalet, out to his right, out at the 10, out to the beyond the original line of scrimmage, out to the 16-yard line. So a 10-yard pickup that time, but came up short. Now Goshen going to have to punt, and this is where we talk about field position coming into play. The Wizards should get decent field position once again.
And to see this run off to the right side around the end, very important because it gives him more room to kick.
They do indeed get some room for their kicker, J.D. Van Grol. Will be standing at about his 5-yard line, just inside his own 5-yard line. Looks like Diaz back to receive for the Wizards. And a low snap, Van Grol able to get it off. That one was almost blocked. And it was not Diaz back to receive. Instead, it was Johnny Reese, and the ball is touched down at the 41-yard line. And that's where the Wizards go to work. Great field position.
I know it's October, Tony, and that time Van Grol fielded that ball like a one-hopper to the shortstop. Had to make a nice pickup to get that kick off.
19 seconds to go here in the first quarter. The Washingtonville Wizards with an 8-6 lead. They broke out to that 8-0 lead on 2 minutes and 5 seconds into the game. Semaluka, a 22-yard reception from Lopez. And then Oscar Wadowiak, a 57-yard run at 6 minutes and 39 seconds of the first quarter. The 2-point conversion failed there. It's an 8-6 football game. Trips to the left this time for the Wizards. Ionito faked the handoff to him. Lopez got a receiver, McCollum. And it looked like a catchable ball for McCollum, maybe out in front of him a little bit. And the Goshen defender waiting there to lay a hit on it. Either way, the ball got through. That is the end of the first quarter. The Wizards lead 8-6. You're watching the Time Warner Cable 6 Game of the Week.
Your car. I take care of you, so I want you to take me to Middletown Professional Car Wash and Quick Lube. They have a full line of choices to keep me clean inside and out. Even a 20-minute 76 performance oil change and quick lube with the free super wash for only $28.95, and you don't even need an appointment. There's even professional auto detailing packages. Middletown Professional Car Wash and Quick Lube. I feel great. Route 211 East, Middletown.
Welcome back to Gustafson Field. An 8-6 lead for the Washingtonville Wizards, who are looking for their first win of the season. Stats through one quarter. Wizards an 8-6 lead. The rushing yards should be much more than that for Goshen, I'm guessing, after that 57-yard run. And the total yards would be higher, but it's an 8-6 lead. No turnovers by either team just yet. Lopez out of the shotgun here on 2nd down and 10, and it's a keeper inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. So out of the shotgun, they go with the keeper run right after sending 3 receivers out to the left.
That's a smart play by Washingtonville, because what it'll do the rest of this game, it'll keep the defense honest for Goshen, where when they go back for a shotgun, they can't necessarily think it won't be a run.
Have to open it up a little bit there for the Goshen backs, who can't commit so much on the receivers, so it opens it up for the wide receivers. 2 flanked out to the left, Semaluka and McCollum for the Wizards. Out of the shotgun once again is Lopez. Little run and gun here. Lopez, this time gonna run. No gun, hops over one man and gets close to the first down marker inside the 30-yard line. He does have a first down. So Lopez, 2 consecutive runs, and that one much more successful than the last.
Brian Foote, the linebacker, put a pop on him. A hard hit after Lopez was able to leap over one defender, and you're going to see Foot come in here in a moment and hit him straight up the middle. Boom.
One thing that Chip Elliott felt he had was speed in the secondary, and right now the secondary is doing a good job, besides the touchdown pass to Semaluka, doing a good job of shutting down the passing game. But if Lopez is going to add the scramble into his repertoire, well, Goshen could be in trouble. 1st and 10 from the Goshen 30 for the Wizards, who lead 8-6. Just underway in the second quarter. Lopez out to the right, has a receiver. That's Semaluka, and that's a great catch. Short of the first down marker at the 22-yard line, but what a catch by Semaluka. Got underneath the coverage there, and a well-thrown ball by Lopez.
McCollum went deep. He took the defensive back with him, and that time Semaluka ran the out to the right. And you're right, a nice diving catch. Outstanding hands.
Good job of holding on to that ball. Fully extended, pulled it in on the way down, and made the catch. 2nd down and 3 for the Wizards from the Goshen 23-yard line. Split backs, Bell and Ionino. Semaluka at the split end. He goes in motion, left to right, to the back, takes the handoff. Little counter to the other way. We've got a flag down on the play as Semaluka comes up shorter to goal line. We got a holding against Washingtonville. It's coming back.
I wonder if it was on McElroy as he was back protecting the quarterback, and that's right where the flag came.
Pretty sure it was McElroy. You saw him give the official a look there, and usually a good sign. Who, me? See if I can pick this up. Look for number 78 there. The big guy in the middle of your screen, and well, looked to be up inside him, so I'm not actually sure that was on McElroy, but it will negate the run.
Talk about a guy who's got a lot going for him. McElroy has a chance to play Division I football in the Ivy League. A couple teams in that conference looking at him. He's also a National Honor Society member.
Bell and Ionino will split in the backfield. Semaluka at the split end. McCollum flanked out to the left. Lopez, your quarterback, the junior. And Semaluka went in motion, looking for McCollum on the left side. Throws it up and has him. Touchdown! He got a knee down, says the official who was right there on the spot. On the coverage that time for Goshen was Aman Sadiq. I believe it looked to me anyway that his knee did come down. We will definitely get another look at that, but that's a touchdown. A 31-yard strike from Lopez to Ricky McCollum makes it 14-6. And they'll try a two-point conversion again. Lopez to McCollum. That's pass interference in the end zone. So they'll do this one over and a little bit closer. Take another look at this touchdown pass from Lopez to Ricky McCollum. He was looking McCollum the whole way.
Wonderful pass, and McCollum had to turn around completely towards the left to make the catch.
Ooh. Another look at this one, and maybe we can slow it down right as he catches the ball, guys, and see where that knee came down. Whoa, ooh, that was close. We do have the luxury of replay. They don't on the field.
Let's go.
And it's like a timeout being called. Looks like Goshen called the timeout here. They want to talk it over. Washingtonville is going to go for a two-point conversion perhaps again after the pass interference in the end zone. So 31-yard reception in the point after attempt. What's still to follow?
What happened on this attempt, and I'll tell you about it in a moment after we take another look at that touchdown pass. It was tough to tell if his foot was down in bounds before the knee came down.
Here you go. Catch. Now the back knee was in, but I think that the front knee was down first. Go back and
ooh, right there.
There's reception. Is the back knee was down? The back knee was down. That's a touchdown. That's a great call by the official. So the back knee was down, and it looks like a touchdown. Great job in the truck, guys. So a touchdown, and what a catch by McCollum. I think we're kind of overlooking that. There's the scoring drive with the extra point to follow.
On the first attempt at the two-point conversion, they lined everybody to the left and then threw a fade towards McCollum in the right. He was interfered with, and here's their second attempt.
So they go half the distance after the pass interference in the end zone on the two-point conversion try. Lopez hands it off. Dane Bell makes it a two-point conversion, 16-6. Your score as the Wizards convert for the second time today on a two-point conversion. They've got a 10-point lead.
Well, Washingtonville doing a nice job bouncing back from their loss last week to Middletown. That was an outstanding drive capped by that terrific catch, and then they're able to convert on the 2 points.
So McCollum, a 31-yard reception, and Lopez getting it done through the air. Rob Lopez so far with 76 yards passing here in this ball game.
Last week, Lopez 9 for 25, couple touchdowns and an interception. It's nice when you have a quarterback that can throw, so if your running game just won't do it on its own, they can open it up, keeps the defense wondering.
4 for 7, 76 yards, and 2 touchdown passes for Rob Lopez. Not a bad way to start. There's still 9 minutes, 20 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Or excuse me, the first half anyway. First quarter, that might be a record, 16-6, here in high school anyway. Although the way we've seen some of these teams in the past few weeks roll, Newburgh with a big win over Minnesink last night, they rolled. Monroe rolled over Middletown. Big game today in Class AA is Warwick taking on Kingston in Warwick. Simaluka will handle the kickoff duties once again for the Wizards, who lead 16-6. Have I mentioned how much I love the way that they approach the ball, and you really don't know if they're going to kick it or not? It's a new wrinkle. Better than the old standard spread the field and kick it away. Simaluka gets it up, angles it to his right. It's taken by Wadowiak. Wadowiak out over to 30 and taken down at the 31-yard line. So decent field position here for Goshen, who's going to try and answer back after the Wizards put a touchdown up. So the Wizards offense, 2 for 3 you could call it on the day as far as scoring drives go, and Goshen 1 for 2.
Washingtonville was hurt earlier this season against Warwick on a kickoff when Warwick caught the ball and did that little Keystone Cops play where they all ran together and then burst out of the huddle. You didn't know who had the football. So they want to pay special attention on their coverage on kickoffs.
Surrey will lead the Gladiators to the line. They'll come out of the eye. Dembeck and Wadowiak, 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. Their own 32 for Goshen, who trail by 10. Handoff goes to Wadowiak, out over to 35, near the 37-yard line. Pick up a 5 on the play for Oscar Wadowiak. Second down and 5 here for Goshen. Gladiators have won 2 consecutive games coming in. First over Sports Science Academy out of the city, Reform School down in New York City, and then a win over Saugerties last week in a very tight game. From what Chip Elliott was telling me, it was kind of, didn't know where it was going to go until the 4th quarter. So Goshen would like to keep this game close and then take their chances once again in that 4th quarter, but they trail 16-6. Surrey calling, brings him out of the eye again, tries to pitch it, but no, he's pulled down in the backfield. Breaking through for the Wizards was Brian Hubbard. Surrey didn't even have time to pitch that ball away. Hubbard was quick into the backfield, almost untouched.
What penetration. When you get to the quarterback before he even takes 2 steps back, that means not only are you quick, but you're able to elude the man who's trying to block you.
Wizards put 5 down linemen rushing the quarterback up front. Surrey gonna put it up, little timing pattern, overthrew his receiver and overthrew everybody, including the coverage man that time, Johnny Reese for the Wizards, who was thinking interception there for a second. That ball hung out though and was overthrown. Overthrew the coverage, overthrew his receiver.
Well, sometimes you have to take chances when you're trying to beat a team that's, or a school that's bigger than you. Sometimes you have to try to take some chances, some risks, and sometimes they pay off.
Chip Elliott talking to his sophomore quarterback, Nick Turry, and it's a growing process each and every week. And sometimes Elliott's going to get frustrated, sometimes Turry's going to get frustrated, but by the time next year rolls around, they're both going to be a lot better off. And movement looks like against, thought I saw Goshen move, but the Washingtonville players were in the backfield pretty quick, so. And it's offsides against Washingtonville. There you go. So they jumped the ball a little bit there, and that'll make it a 4th and 4 instead of a 4th and 9. I'm assuming the Gladiators are still going to kick it away.
Nice eyes, Tony.
Is this a situation where Goshen even thinks about running a fake here, or just kick it away and keep yourself in this ball game?
I think you think about it, because sometimes you have to make some exceptional plays, like I said, to beat a team when maybe you're the underdog. I don't know that they'll do so here in the first half.
Van Grohl pulls down the high snap. Looks like somebody got a piece of that. Reese is back to receive. He's going to pick it up. No, he leaves it alone, and it takes a Goshen bounce to the 33-yard line. Thought somebody got a piece of that one as it angled to the right. And Washingtonville, pretty good field position once again. Chip Elliott now in his second year as head coach here for the Goshen Gladiators, an assistant to Bob Graham prior to that.
Chip Elliott said that it's probably more difficult in his second year than it was in his first. You might think it would be the opposite, but I think he expects more of himself and his players, and that's why he puts more pressure on his performance.
So the Wizards go to work. 7 minutes, 34 seconds to go in the first half. They've got a 16-6 lead. They'll go with 3 receivers, 2 to the left, 1 to the right, and Dane Bell, the lone back. Simaluka, inside handoff from the split end position there, and he's dropped for a loss down back at the 30-yard line. Looks like Dembeck in there on the tackle for Goshen. Dembeck's been all over the field. Brian Foote also in there.
When he took over before last year, Chip Elliott said this is a 4-year plan. He said it's going to take 4 years to build the program and the system through the JV and the modified teams. As a matter of fact, last night the JV team for Goshen beat the JV for Washingtonville.
Lopez calling the signals, the junior QB. Simaluka in motion, left to right, movement against the Wizards.
Looked like the center that time, as looked like he popped his head up.
The old head bob.
Hubbard wasn't able to conceal that one enough.
Indeed, a false start against the Wizards. Push him back. Bring up a 2nd down and 17. So Goshen's defense, right now anyway, keeping their team in this game. Bell once again buys lonesome in the backfield. McCollum out to the right. Simaluka goes in motion left to right. Lopez looking out to the right. Got a receiver down the right side. Simaluka, what a catch! Came back in for the ball and caught it. He's in Goshen territory at the 49-yard line. Phil Simaluka, very impressive today.
A lot is made of McCollum, and rightly so, but Simaluka, he has very good hands. He's caught a couple balls in this game that were not easy. And right there with a defender all over him, he makes a nice grab.
Jerry Beauvalet on the coverage, and Beauvalet kind of overran, wasn't sure where Simaluka was there, and that's where you need kind of that sixth sense to realize where the other player is, and a good job by Simaluka to cut back. But try it once again. McCollum out on the left, 2 receivers to the right. Bell once again by his lonesome. Simaluka in motion, fake the inside handoff. Pitch goes to Dane Bell, and he's cut down in the backfield. Beauvalet getting a little redemption there as he cuts into the backfield and drops Dane Bell for a loss.
Well, the final 6 minutes here in this second quarter are key, because momentum going into the half. If Washingtonville were able to score, they would have it. Nice stop.
Beauvalet caught Bell's left leg there, and it was enough to pull him down. Loss of 6 on the play. 2nd down and 16 for the Wizards from their own 47-yard line. Iannino and Bell in the backfield. Washingtonville with a 16-6 lead. Simaluka rather in motion. Lopez looking to the left for McCollum. Same play as the touchdown. This time he threw it out of bounds. No replay needed on that one. No catch made, and the ball definitely out of bounds and uncatchable for McCollum. There is a flag down on the play, and against Washingtonville. Holding. No personal foul against the Wizards, and they are going the wrong direction. They do have a 16-6 lead here, but Dan Stadler can't be happy with his team's penalties here. That's a 15-yard penalty.
Well, I talked about the fact that opening week they had 7 turnovers, and so the turnovers and penalties were key. They've improved, but that time, those are tough.
3rd and 30 now for the Wizards. So they call that after the play, so that brings up the third down. It was second down, so it was a dead ball foul. Third down and 30 for the Wizards. They have a 16-6 lead. Lopez is going to go out of the shotgun. McCollum and Simaluka flanked out to the left. Iannino in the backfield, standing next to Lopez. Fake the handoff, pursued in the backfield, and it's intercepted. Pulled down by Goshen's Brian Foote, and the Gladiators have great field position, and there is a flag down. Could be a face mask tacked onto the end of that. Let's see. Lopez was hit as he threw, definitely underthrew his receiver, and Foote made the interception. Personal foul against Washingtonville. That's 2 consecutive plays, and he'll tack on 15 to the end of that run back there by Foote.
Looks like Lopez panicked a little bit, and you're right. He was hit in the lower body, which took some of the arm strength away from him. And talk about momentum. I think Goshen's got it right now.
Drew Huddleston came in there untouched in the face, and when Drew Huddleston is staring at you, you'll know it. 6'2", 200 pounds, and you may want to get rid of that ball pretty quickly. Huddleston did a great job there, and Foote right there for Goshen. He made the interception. So a timeout on the field, and with 5:09 to go in the first half, we'll take a quick timeout. Washingtonville up 16-6, but here come the Gladiators. It's the Time Warner Cable 6 Game of the Week.
Get your Toyota at Johnson's Toyota.
New vehicles, like the Camry or Sienna.
Certified pre-owned. Choose from coupes, trucks, or SUVs.
Rentals, minivans for that big family vacation.
So for whatever reason, for your next vehicle, try Johnson's Toyota.
In Middletown and Monticello.
Get your Toyota at Johnston's Toyota.
Back at Gustafson Field, Washingtonville with a 16-6 lead, but Rick Schultz, one thing that's haunted them over the past 2 plays is 30 yards and penalties.
No question about it. For the game, they have 6 penalties for 56 yards. Throw in that interception, the turnover, and that's why they're in a bad position right here.
Turry hands it off to the left. That's Demback, but McElroy there to make the stop. He's so big, I said his name twice. McElroy gets the job done. You mentioned he's looking at the Ivy League this year, and McElroy, a third-year starter here for the Wizards. Started all 3 years under Dan Stadler.
Top 15 academically in his class. Standout football player.
Beauvalet brings the play into Turry, who's hurrying him up. 4.5 to go here in the first half. Clock is running. Turry races to the line, under 5 to go on the play clock. Handoff goes to Beauvalet, cuts to the inside and stopped at about the 12-yard line. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 7 here for Goshen.
Well, we'll see if Washingtonville can stop them, but you were talking earlier about how guys are, for the most part, playing one way, either offense or defense. You see the stop, the push defensively by Washingtonville. When you play only one way, there's less of a tendency to take plays off, and that can help you in situations like this where you're backed up in your own territory.
Chip Elliott and Goshen working with limited numbers this year, but really feels, as you mentioned, that the numbers are coming through the program, and that's what you need here to especially compete at the Class A level. Turry fakes the handoff, rolling out to his right, tries to turn a corner. He's not going to be able to. The ball came loose, but he was down by contact, and the sack goes to Chris Coleman. Coleman, a late insert to this starting lineup for the Wizards, and it's paying off.
Coleman coming all the way from the right side, chasing him down, a lot like Bruce Smith used to do for the Buffalo Bills. Just continuing his pursuit and making the nice wrap-up tackle.
Boy, Coleman just shed his blocker there, almost untouched by his blocker. Faced him out a little juke move and got into the backfield. And it looks like the Gladiators are going to try what will be a 39-yard field goal. Van Grohl on for the kick. Out of the hold of Tim Payne. Payne gets it down. Van Grohl gets it up, and it's going to come up short. Well, he was online, just didn't have the distance on that one, so the field goal try is no good. So the Gladiators just trying to turn points out of that interception, but give credit to the Wizards defense. they did their job there and they held. And Washingtonville brings that offense back out on the field with a 16-6 lead.
And that was a wise decision to go for the field goal. 4th and long, when a field goal would bring you within 1 touchdown, you give it a try. They weren't able to convert it, but that was the right decision by Chip Elliott.
So Rob Lopez, who has 2 touchdown tosses in his back pocket and a 10-point lead, put this Wizards offense back to work. And don't think that Dan Stadler wouldn't like to run a little clock here and get to halftime with at least a 10-point lead, maybe even more. He'll go with 4 receivers, 2 to the right, 2 to the left, so I'm guessing he may not just want to run clock. And a timeout being taken by Goshen. Had the wrong personnel out on the field. They call a timeout, we'll call a timeout. 16-6. Washingtonville in the lead. You're watching the Time Warner Cable 6 Game of the Week.
Presenting the world premiere of the new Price Chopper Market Center in Newburgh. Join us for our grand opening celebration going on now with low prices throughout the store. Price Chopper, rated LFLP, for people who love food and low prices.
When it comes to office furniture, Hudson Valley Office Furniture wants you to know change is good. In the past, you were very limited with your options. This meant very little choice regardless of efficiency. Now, new modular office furniture will allow our space planners the flexibility to design a workspace specific to you and your layout and workflow, all at a price that will make you say, wow. Quality, value, selection, and service. It's what to expect at Hudson Valley Office Furniture. Hudson Valley Office Furniture. They'll make you say, wow.
And welcome back to Gustafson Field. Chip Elliott's Gladiators trailing 16-6 with 2 minutes and 56 seconds to go here in the first half. Washingtonville broke out to an 8-0 lead after a 22-yard toss from Lopez to Simaluka. 2 minutes, 5 seconds into the game. 2-point conversion was good there. Oscar Wadowiak, a 57-yard run at the 6-minute and 39-second mark for Goshen to answer back. But here in the second quarter, Ricky McCollum, a 31-yard reception, 2.5 minutes into the second quarter, and a 2-point conversion made it 16-6. Lopez gonna put it up. Got a man over the middle, and it's caught. And perhaps a touchdown saving tackle there for Goshen on the reception that time for Washingtonville. A man not on the roster. Take another look at this, and that was number 20 on the reception there for the Wizards. And we're going to call it Lee Morrow. I believe it is Morrow, is listed as a tight end here on our sheet, maybe a wide receiver. So we'll call that Lee Morrow with the reception there for the Wizards. Lopez once again out of the shotgun, trips to the right. And a man flanked to the left, fakes the handoff to Bell, looking out to the right. Wide open is Ricky McCollum. McCollum will do the rest. It's a 61-yard touchdown reception from McCollum, his second of the game. And the Wizards have a 22-6 lead.
Excellent pass that time from Lopez as he aired it out about 40 yards down the right sideline. Nice catch, but defensively, that was a breakdown in the defensive backfield. As McCollum all alone, they key on him defensively. They know they have to watch where he goes on every play, and that time, a couple guys just forgot about him.
And they fumble the snap. It's up in the air, and the extra point is no good. It's 22-6 for Washingtonville. Look how wide open Ricky McCollum is. Lopez, all he had to do was get it to him in a well-thrown ball, and McCollum took care of the rest.
He's been bothered a little bit by a leg injury this year, not the same hamstring that hampered him last season, but they say he's 100%, sure looks 100% to me, as does Lopez.
You get a better look here. He had the nearest defender beat by 15 yards, did McCollum. It's almost a straight post pattern. Straight out, and a touchdown for McCollum. That's his second reception, touchdown reception of the game. Lopez's third touchdown toss, 2 to McCollum, 1 to Simaluka to open the scoring. And Washingtonville, 22-6 lead. 2 plays, 80 yards. not bad math. So much for running clock.
That's why a lot of times time of possession is so overrated. I'd rather score every time I have the ball on 2 plays rather than chew up 10 minutes to score once.
It's not even a coming out party for Rob Lopez because we knew he had the potential to do just this. He's now got 181 yards passing. Tack that on to last weekend. Rob Lopez has a bright future ahead, the junior quarterback. Simaluka to kick it away for Washingtonville. Taken by Beauvalet at the 16-yard line. He dropped the ball there while it was on his knee, so he can get back up and run the ball. Going to try and turn the corner around the 20. Great pursuit. Diaz took him down. There's a flag down on the play. It's like a block in the back against Goshen. That's going to bring that one back, and it indeed is. Not the way Goshen wanted to answer back there. And right now, if it's going to be a shootout, it's favoring Washingtonville.
It's impressive what Washingtonville has done this year when you consider what they went through in the offseason. Their starting quarterback, Kevin Helm, injured his back and his knee in a car accident. So they have to call on Lopez. He wins a battle in the first couple weeks for the starting job, and now he's playing well.
And that block in the back pushes it back to the 10-yard line, and the wind picking up here at Gustafson Field. The papers go flying. Goshen has a long way to go to get back into the game and a long way to go to find the end zone. 90 yards they'll have to put together. And Turry, the sophomore, put him in action. Dembeck in fullback with Dowiak, who has a 57-yard touchdown run, the lone scorer for Goshen. He's in at the tailback position. Handoff goes to Wadowiak, running straight ahead, and Josh McElroy there for the tackle for the Wizards.
I think McElroy and many of the other linemen down there enjoy the breeze because it keeps them cool on this day where it's near 80 degrees.
Second down and 8 now for Goshen. Coming up on a minute, 40 seconds to go here in the first half. Goshen was as close as 8-6. And besides 0-0, that's as close as they've been since this game started. And Turry calling the signals, man in motion from left to right. Pitch goes to Wadowiak, trying to get around the corner, sniffing for the first down, getting close, and may have got it. It's like he came over the line, and it is a first down for Goshen. So they'll move the chains, stop the clock to move those chains. A minute 16 to go here in the first half. We'll take another look at the pitch from Turry out to Wadowiak. Great blocking out in front. And then moved his way to the outside, cut back, was sniffing for that first down marker and just got to it, and then he was stuffed there by that Washingtonville defense. Brian Hubbard in there on the tackle for the Wizards. I want to remind you to stay tuned. Prior to half, our Rick Schultz is going to try and catch up with Wizards coach Dan Stadler, who has to be happy with the performance, especially of his offense, leading 22-6 thus far here as we get ready to go into the half. 50 seconds to go in the first half. Handoff goes to Dembeck, and he breaks out for a looked like a 2 or 3 yard pickup. It was a lot more than that, about a 7-yard pickup. Good job by Dembeck here on the inside handoff. Lost my line of scrimmage there. So Dembeck, the 7-yard pickup, second down to 3. Foot hit a fullback, leading the way for Beauvalet, and he's out over the 35 to the 36-yard line, and with both teams out of timeouts, they can just stop the clock to move the chains, and there's only 8 seconds to go here in the first half. As I mentioned, neither team with any timeouts, and they just may let this clock run down. We take another look at Beauvalet. I want to apologize on that carry moments ago. That was Foot, that 7-yard carry, and a timeout is taken. He said Goshen had a timeout left, and we thought that they didn't. So with 1 second on the clock, they're probably just going to toss up a Hail Mary. So 1 second on the clock. Goshen will get one more play off. And Rick and I were talking about the conditions earlier, and last night, well, a far different pitcher for teams throughout the region who played last night in Section 9 and Section 1, as it was just rain, some places downpours at times. I myself was up in Highland Falls where Red Hook defeated O'Neill 19-7, and that game was just played in the muck. Misting and downpours throughout the game, and Red Hook Raiders with a big win in Highland Falls. But today, much, much different. Temperature approaching 80 degrees, a slight breeze out there keeping the players cool, and well, the Wizards right now are red hot. They've got a 22-6 lead looking to go into the half. Once again, remind you to stay tuned for halftime. We'll have stats and highlights, a full recap of the first half of action. Turry's going to go out of the shotgun. 2 receivers left, 2 receivers right. And Dembeck to his right in the backfield. Beauvalet in motion from left to right. Turry rolling out to his right, throwing it down the right sideline, and it's intercepted, and it might be going back. Johnny Reese, a lot of green. Can he get into the end zone? No, pushed out of bounds by the sophomore Turry, and that ends the half. Well, Turry saved a touchdown, and what was a bad first half for Goshen could have been a lot worse. 22-6, and there is a player down on the field for Goshen, and our Rick Schultz is going to try and catch up with Washingtonville head coach Rick Schultz, so we're going to keep it here. And hunting him out is Schultz, and let's send it over to Rick Schultz. He's with Washingtonville coach Dan Stadler, a 22-6 lead.
All right, Tony, we've got Dan Stadler down here, and Coach, what did you think right there? Did you think he might sneak in the end zone?
I was hoping so. I tell you what, he's got good speed. He works hard in practice every week, and Johnny made a nice effort to get there. He almost did it. I think he finished around the 3-yard line or so. Nice job.
On that second touchdown by McCollum down the right side, were you surprised, as I was, just how wide open he was?
Yeah, actually, I was surprised. That's one of the things that our kids are communicating to us, what they see, especially when we went to our gun package. And we were trying to hook up with Ricky against number 22, the outside guy, because he was playing up tighter. I think what happened was we threw to our number 3 guy on a slant. They tried to respect that, and we lost him outside. And he was running against there. We like to see that.
Nice half, Coach. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Dan Stadler, the head coach for Washingtonville, is our guest, and right now it's 22-6 Washingtonville. When we return, we'll have all the information at halftime right here on the Cable 6 Game of the Week.
At Daily Oil, there is a difference. We've been satisfying customers out of Newburgh for over 60 years. That's because of our excellent customer service and quality products. Daily Oil certified technicians are available for all your heating system concerns. Our oil delivery is always dependable, and we are always ready to answer any questions you may have regarding home heating. It's this quality service that sets Daily Oil above the rest. When it comes to reliable home heating, come to Daily Oil, because there is a difference.
Get your tickets today. Call 1-877-TIX-ARMY.
What's up? Forgot my due.
Oh, man.
Christopher Columbus went looking for a shortcut to the Orient. He didn't expect to discover the New World.
Kia portata questa qua.
And when you go to Middletown Auction Pavilion, you won't expect to discover the area's best-kept secret. Look for low prices on quality new and used furniture and discover a world of sofa beds and living room sets, a complete line of bedding in stock, and so much more. Always priced way below what you'd expect. And discover the convenience of personal service and free local delivery. Middletown Auction Pavilion, Route 17M, 3 miles north of Middletown.
Welcome back to Oscar W. Gustafson Field. The Washingtonville Wizards with a 22-6 lead here at the half. And Goshen made a game of this one early after falling behind 8-0 just 2 minutes in. They come back at the 6:39 mark of the first quarter. and Oscar Wadowiak putting together this 57-yard run to pay dirt.
Nice blocking up front by Goshen. He got to the right side, and his speed, he's one of the track stars of this football team, and able to turn it on down the right side.
And the Wizards, though, would answer back at the start of the second quarter. Ricky McCollum with his first touchdown reception of the game, 2.5 minutes into that second quarter. And the game was still 8-6 when this happened.
You can see the luxury a quarterback has. You toss it up in his direction. He made the terrific play to catch it, keep his feet, his tippy toes, or his knee, or whatever was in bounds. He did it. They were able to convert to him twice in the first half.
He was able to hold on to that pigskin there, and they added another one. McCollum made another reception, a 61-yarder, and the lead 22-6 at the half. The rushing yards, when you look at Goshen and you say 57 of those yards came from one guy, and that one guy was for Goshen, Oscar Wadowiak. 215 total yards. The turnovers, Goshen could not make Washingtonville pay for the one turnover, and that was really what I think was the turning point of the game thus far.
That's right, no question about that. If I were to think about this first half and predict what the score would be, I would not think it would be 22-6. I think it was much more evenly played than that, and I think Goshen has to try to gain that positive and bring that into the second half, the fact that they were with them much of the first.
And this could have been a lot worse, an interception by Johnny Reese there at the end of the first half, and Nick Turry a game-saving at least tackle at the 3-yard line, knocking Reese out of bounds before he was able to make it into the end zone, and that is how the first half ended. 22-6, Washingtonville on tap. We're going to be back with the second half kickoff. Right after this, you're watching the Time Warner Cable 6 Game of the Week.
This digital recorder combines
You know how cold winter can be. Our advice is head north to North Star Energy, your winter headquarters for energy savings. Pellet stoves, gas stoves, wood stoves, gas fireplaces, wood fireplaces, fireplace inserts. With great service and a beautiful selection of stoves and fireplaces. So head north to North Star Energy, your winter headquarters for energy savings. North Star Energy, Route 211 East, Middletown.
Where do you get your healthcare information? Well, now you can get it from the most trusted medical group in the Mid-Hudson Valley. Watch Better Healthcare, featuring Crystal Run Healthcare's Dr. Hal Teitelbaum. They have the medical information you can rely on. So tune in to Dr. Hal Teitelbaum and the physicians of Crystal Run Healthcare for Better Healthcare every Thursday night at 6 p.m. on Time Warner Cable's Channel 6.
When looking to fill any of your insurance needs, look no further than Marshall & Sterling Insurance, the Hudson Valley's insurance leader, providing our clients a remarkable history of service and dedication since 1864. From the phonograph to the compact disc, from prairie travel to space travel, Marshall & Sterling has shown the way. Home, health, life, business, or auto. Call your local Marshall & Sterling office today or log on to marshallsterling.com. The Hudson Valley's oldest and most recognizable name for insurance, Marshall & Sterling. Our people are your best insurance.
Enjoy exciting and affordable golf at the acclaimed Monster, rated one of the top 100 courses in the nation, or the fabulous Grossinger's Big G with its 4.5-star Golf Digest rating. These challenging courses are complemented by unsurpassed views. And don't forget about the Concorde's International course as well. Book your next outing, corporate or private event at our outstanding restaurant and catering facilities. Call us today for our midweek specials. Play one or both, the Monster and the Big G.
Back at Gustafson Field, just in time for the second half kickoff. Beauvalet takes it at the 17-yard line. Had to be careful there picking that ball up that his knee didn't go down. And they're saying he was bobbling the ball there. So Goshen's going to go to work from their own 22-yard line to start trailing 22-6 here at the start of the second half.
I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but we've seen a couple indecisive catches by the receivers fielding the kickoffs at that end, and we mentioned earlier that they are staring into the bright sunshine from that end.
Goshen did win the toss and deferred there in the opening kickoff and gave it away, and we've got a new quarterback in there. It's Tim Payne for the Gladiators. He's going to put it up right away, and it's intercepted. Johnny Reese's second pick of the game. He's down at the 44-yard line, and the Wizards with a golden opportunity to put this game away. And I know what you're saying, it's only the third quarter, but they score here. It's all but over for Goshen. So Payne comes in, his first play from scrimmage. He's intercepted. That's 2 consecutive interceptions by Johnny Reese, one at the end of the first half and then the beginning here of the second half. And here go the Wizards to work. Lopez, who already has 3 touchdown tosses on the game and 170-plus yards passing. 181, actually, yards passing for Rob Lopez. Iannino in the back will be the quarterback, rather. Check that, Lopez, the fullback Iannino, and Dane Bell, the tailback. Handoff goes to Dane Bell. No, it wasn't. Thought that was a new guy back there. Should have trusted your first instinct. Chris Castellano with the carry. Castellano down to the 41-yard line. A pickup of 3 on the play, 2nd down and 7 for Washingtonville.
The tough job now for Chip Elliott as we watch that last run. Elliott, the head coach, of course, for Goshen. He's got to keep his guys up and motivated, because if they do that, they can continue and play a solid second half. But if guys start to get dejected and start to lose interest because things haven't gone their way early in the second half, then it could get ugly.
Iannino and Castellano split in the backfield. Lopez, the signal caller. Simaluka was flanked out to the right. Handoff goes to Castellano, trying to turn the corner, and he's down, stopped at the 41-yard line. May have picked up about a half a yard, and it's going to bring up a 2nd down and, or excuse me, a 3rd down, and it'll still remain about 7.
That time Matt Peterson came from the right linebacker spot. He was able to make the tackle in the backfield, and I think that answered the question right off the bat, the fact that they're not giving anything up now. It's still very early in the 3rd.
Peterson played the last 2 games played a key role in those victories for Goshen. We really haven't called his name too many times here this afternoon. Iannino and Castellano stay in the backfield split. Ricky McCollum flanked out to the left. Simaluka set back at the split end. On the left, comes in motion, backwards to the right. Handoff, Iannino, no. Lopez puts it up, and it's intercepted! The Gladiators have the ball, Joe Dembeck. So a turnover by Goshen, a turnover right back. Dembeck, the interception, and the Gladiators get the ball back. They moved up a few yards. 1st and 10 at their own 37. Lopez really, I thought, sold that handoff to Iannino. He sold it to me anyway, and threw in the double coverage there. And I'm not sure he saw Dembeck coming out of his left side there and came across and pulled down the interception.
I think that's just discipline by the linebacker Dembeck, holding his position until he knew definitively where that ball was and which runner had it, and he was able to come away with it out of the air.
Well, Dembeck is disciplined. We know that he had a key tackle on McCollum early in the first half. Handoff goes to Foot. Foot powers his way ahead up near the 44-yard line and stopped there. Washingtonville defense and their big Carlton Green on the tackle.
Well, the home crowd is ready. They want to erupt with their team now on offense after picking up that turnover. 2nd down and 6 for Goshen. Tim Payne, the senior quarterback, in there for the sophomore Nick Turry, who was pulled after the first half through an interception to end the first half. So Payne out there, and the senior going to work. Wadowiak has now joined into the backfield. Payne's going to put it up in the air. Last time it was intercepted. This time it's underthrown. Intended receiver was Rich Protzko. 3rd down and 6 for Goshen. 9.5 to go here in the 3rd quarter, and they trail Washingtonville 22-6. It was an 8-6 ball game at the end of the 1st quarter. Washingtonville 2 touchdowns, combined 92 yards and touchdown receptions for Ricky McCollum. Won a tremendous catch along the sideline of the end zone, and another he was wide open, a 61-yard reception with under 3 minutes to go in the first half. And Washingtonville with 22-6 lead. Beauvalet in motion as the Gladiators work out of the shotgun. Payne looking out, and he loses the ball. Ball is on the ground, and the Wizards have it. Recovered by Chris Coleman. The pressure came through, and it looks like Bill Foley, who got to Payne first, knocked the ball free. Coleman the recovery, and the Wizards have the ball 1st and 10. So 3 consecutive turnovers here to open the second half. 2 by Goshen, 1 by the Wizards. There's the latest one. Very active on the line, able to pressure, get your hands in there, try to knock that ball away. Excellent defensive push by Washingtonville.
So Foley, give him credit for knocking the ball loose. And the recovery to Chris Coleman. Chip Elliott, as you mentioned, his job here to keep his kids into this game. Lopez going to work 1st and 10 from the Goshen 25-yard line and a 22-6 lead. Dane Bell back in there. Iannino split in the backfield. Lopez looking out to his left, looking for McCollum. McCollum looking to cut back, and it's intercepted. That's a touchback, and Goshen gets it back. 4 consecutive turnovers.
Who wants the football? Do you want it? No, why don't you take it?
Amon Sadiq, who had been beat earlier on the touchdown pass to McCollum, that time gets the interception. Lopez, 2 consecutive interceptions here on his first 2 pass attempts of the second half.
No, really, I'm serious. I couldn't. You take it.
No, you take it. That's the game here between Goshen and Washingtonville. At least Washingtonville has a 16-point lead to lean back on.
This is a big game for both teams. Goshen wanting to play with the team as they step up to Class A, and we talked about it, Washingtonville wanting to win their first.
Handoff to Wadowiak in the Wizard defense, casting their spell once again over that Gladiator offense and stopping them for a very short gain. Are you surprised at all now, as I say that to you, surprised that Payne's out there? Here comes Nick Turry back into the game, the sophomore. Perhaps a little jolt to Nick Turry here saying, let's get it going, fella. As Payne, the senior, comes out and Turry, the sophomore, goes back in there. Goshen doesn't think they're out of this game at all.
And they shouldn't. Being down 22-6, midway point in the 3rd quarter, and in high school football, heck, you could score 8 times between now and the end of the game. Especially with the team speed Goshen has.
Protzko in motion, pitch goes out to Beauvalet. Beauvalet powers his way ahead just short of the 25-yard line, and he picks up about 3 on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 5 for Goshen.
We talked about that Goshen team speed. 3 members of their 400-meter relay team, Wadowiak, Beauvalet, and Sadiq. And there's that last run up the middle.
Came up just short of the 25. 3rd down and 6, we'll call it now, for Goshen. Once again, another key challenge here. Gladiators hoping to pass this test. Backfield is split. It's Dembeck and Beauvalet. Split out to the left is Sadiq. Brett Smith is the split end. Handoff goes to the right. And not much there for Beauvalet. And Goshen going to have to punt this ball away. They are trying to get Jerry Beauvalet involved in the game as much as they can. And with his speed, you mentioned with Wadowiak and Sadiq, even the speed out there, the key is to try and get those guys involved, but they haven't been able to establish them as since Wadowiak's 57-yard touchdown run. It's really been not much from this Goshen offense.
And they have an offensive line that is somewhat inexperienced as well. Jones, the only one back this year, although he was hurt last week, not playing today. So that offensive line, although they've been playing better this season, as the season has progressed, they still have some work to do.
J.D. Van Grohl back inside his own 15 to punt it away. Back to receive is Johnny Reese, and Van Grohl, that ball was partially blocked, and it's going to go out of bounds at about the 39-yard line, so the Wizards will get good field position once again. But hey, nobody turned the ball over. A silver lining here for both teams anyway, as they opened up with 4 consecutive turnovers after combining for only 2 in the first half. They doubled their output.
It sounds so easy to just say, you know, take care of the football and we're going to have a successful outcome. But when things go on out there, it's not always as simple as that, as we've seen here in this 3rd quarter.
You know, we've seen Lopez air it out a few times, and the last interception was underthrown to McCollum, and maybe his arm does get a little tired. I mean, you throw the football enough and you throw it. I mean, we estimated he threw it about 40 yards on the last touchdown to McCollum, maybe 30 before that. His arm could be getting a little tired. McCollum flanked to the right this time. In motion, Semaluka to the right. Lopez was tripped up, but he's still on his feet, tries to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage. Blitz that time from Goshen paid off. Beauvalet was even in there in the backfield and dropped it for about a 3-yard loss, 2nd down and 13.
And these two coaches will tell you the challenge they face is trying to keep their young teams aggressive, yet not going over that line and making careless mistakes. You want your guys to take chances, be aggressive, and utilize their skills, but you don't want them to cross that line where they make careless, reckless behavior mistakes.
Morrow, Simaluka, McCallum are the trips to the right. Dane Bell, the lone back. Lopez calling signals on 2nd and 13 for the Wizards, who lead 22-6, coming up on 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Lopez wants to pass, being pressured, gonna have to run, throws the ball away, and that's an intentional grounding as Lopez was twisted down. He's still down on the ground. Great pressure from that Goshen front defensive line, rather. Good to see Lopez hop back up there, but that's an intentional grounding, a loss of down, and a third down and a long way.
Take a look as he tries to get to the outside, moving left, not able to do it as he just chucks it backwards as he's falling on his keister.
Signorelli twisting him down. Peterson followed up, and I think that was the hit that kept Lopez down a little bit, but Signorelli should have had a sack there. Instead, it's an intentional grounding, and it brings up a third down and 26 for Washingtonville. Goshen's defense has looked great at times, but Washingtonville's offense has looked smooth at times too, so that's kind of negated Goshen's defensive play. I think the secondary is what really hurt. I think Chip Elliott knew that coming in, that his secondary was going to have to play maybe the perfect game. Trips once again to the right. Dane Bell standing next to Lopez in the backfield for the Wizards. Lopez, the keeper, tries to bust through, and once again, Goshen's defense stays at home. Weren't biting on that. And a good job there, the front line. Christian Viss with a tackle for Goshen.
Viss, 5'10", 220, the junior. Both defensive lines have played exceptionally well here in this third quarter. Looks like those guys haven't been tired at all. And that's, I think, a credit to good conditioning.
So on 4th and 25, Simaluka going to have to kick it away for the Wizards. Coming up on 5 minutes, 20 seconds to go, third quarter. Simaluka, an end-over-end kick. Beauvalet standing back at the 16, just going to let it go. And anxious moments there as Sadiq almost touched that ball back, and that took a Washingtonville roll back inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line.
Well, the double-edged sword, you don't want to touch that ball and then not get a return and have it maybe knocked away from you. But as they are now, they're inside their own 10.
Chip Elliott talking to Aman Sadiq as he comes off the field. And perhaps telling him just that. You got to make up your mind, either stay there and pick up the ball or get away. And that ball bounces back to the market down at the 9. A better spot than Gladiators at first got. But Turry will put him to work with Dowiak and Foot in the backfield. Out of the eye. Sent a man in motion. Handoff goes to Wadowiak, and the Wizards defense, well, the magic is continuing here, especially in the second half. They're getting the job done.
And Goshen's going to have to open it up and take some risks as this game progresses, being that they're down 22-6, under 5 minutes left here in the third. Meanwhile, Washingtonville, there's no urgency. When they get the ball, they can take their time, chew up some clock.
Second down and 9 for Goshen. They trail by 16, 4.5 to go in the third quarter. Nick Turry back out there at quarterback. The sophomore had been pulled for 2 series in favor of the senior Tim Payne. Tossed an interception. Turry calling signals. Protzko went in motion. Turry running the option here is going to keep it out over the 10 to the 15-yard line. He's short of the first down. He's going to bring up a third down, and we'll call it 3.
Nick Turry on the carry, picks up 5, third and 5.
See Turry here run the option. This is really all they ask him to do. And I mentioned last year that Pete St. Lawrence was here for Goshen, and just everything was run towards St. Lawrence, putting it on his back and running a lot of plays, making things happen, and added a shotgun a lot, and they'd even spread the offense out and spread the defense as far as spreading the offense to the opposite side of the field, including the offensive line, kind of similar to what you saw on the Washingtonville extra point tries, the 2-point conversions. And Gladiators would do that, come out to start last year against Roundat Valley, and it didn't pay off. Turry running the option again, and he's going to come up short of the first down, and the Gladiators going to have to send the punting unit out once again.
Looked like they didn't want to make a mistake. They were rather conservative there, deep in their own territory, not wanting to turn it over, I guess, with a pass.
Well, for Washingtonville, if they can get out of here, and there's a long way to go, if they can get out of here with a win, then they go back into Class AA with at least a win under the belt. They opened up 0-4. losing to Minnesink, losing to Newburgh, losing to Warwick, losing to Middletown. Well, those are 4 pretty tough teams. Maybe Middletown is a game they'd like to have back, thinking they could win that game. Minnesink is another one they might want to have back. But as far as Newburgh and Warwick go, those are 2 cream of the crop of Class AA, along with Kingston. And those are tough games. Washingtonville has Kingston at home for homecoming, which will be a tough game for them. Van Grohl back at the 5, the punt, and got it away. It came free, and did it touch a Washingtonville player? I don't think it did. Jumping rope through there was Alex Reyes, and that ball almost touched him. That would have been devastation for Washingtonville anyway, because they would have turned the ball over again. But Wizards get the ball back in great field position again. The 34-yard line of Goshen. Wind picks up again.
And here's what we were talking about with no urgency. Deep in Goshen territory, they can run, chew up some clock, get closer towards the end zone, or they can open it up and pass and try to surprise people, which they're able to do. That's a nice analysis, right? They can run or they can pass.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I bring to you, Tony.
I appreciate that, Rick. You've not been renewed for your 2nd year. Sorry about that. Just kidding, of course. Handoff goes to the right. It's Castellano. Castellano at the 10, at the 5. Touchdown, Wizards. Look back, no flags. 28-6, Washingtonville. 2.5 to go, 3rd quarter.
Castellano, the junior, 5'8", 155. And you can see he's very fast. He got some nice initial blocking up front, and that's all he needed. There was further downfield blocking as he broke to the right, but that was mainly made on his speed.
Castellano with the carry. And Simaluka on for the extra point try for the Wizards to make it 29-6. No good. 28-6 it stays. A 34-yard run from Chris Castellano. Here's another look. Got to the outside and bye-bye.
He was able just to beat the defensive backs towards that corner. And once he turned, they weren't able to catch him.
He hit the hole, had a blocker. Iannino was looking for somebody to hit as he led his way through, and nobody was there. And then it was a foot race, and Castellano completes it. There was a flag down. Could have been a running into the kicker. It looks like it's going to be assessed on the kickoff. 28-6, 2.5 to go, 3rd quarter. Washingtonville following the very short kick by Goshen. 1 play, 35 yards. It took 8 seconds, and Castellano a 35-yard run for a touchdown.
Well, we talked about this offensive line with Mick Elroy and the rest of the gang being key for Washingtonville. And that's what sprung him open on that play, and has done so here this afternoon. Whenever you have a good run, it's always predicated by the offensive line.
So the penalty actually goes against Washingtonville there, and that'll push him back to the 25. It's a 15-yard penalty. Does that seem right? Yep, 15-yard penalty. So they're going to have to kick it off from the 25. And we've been in these games before, Rick, where sometimes teams are just playing for pride. And unfortunately for Goshen, this is a situation where they're playing for a little pride here with 2.5 to go and down 22 points. 2.5 to go in the 3rd quarter.
They knew it was going to be tough, stepping up in class, playing teams that have larger student bases to pick from. There's no question about that.
As we mentioned, Goshen just 3 students above the Class A level. And they are the smallest A school. They played Port Jervis earlier this year, who's just a dominant team that could compete in Class AA. As far as skill level goes, the numbers aren't Class AA. And Goshen was manhandled by the Red Raiders. And the Wizards, good coverage there. Goshen, decent field position at 1st and 10 at their own 44. But as far as Goshen goes, it's going to be tough. Now, they did beat Saugerties, another Class A school, last week. There are some teams that they hope to compete with in Class A, but as far as competing with the Roundouts, who they play next week, and the Port Jervises, well, that's going to be tough. Even the Walk Hill is going to be a tough matchup. We saw Walk Hill earlier this year, who's suddenly very hot. After losing that opener to Port Jervis, they've reeled off 4 straight wins. So they're 4-1, a win over Averill Park last night, Friday night, at home. Turi, quick pass, tipped, intercepted. Taken back the other way, that is Reyes, Alex Reyes on the interception. And that is the third interception of the day by Turry, fourth by Goshen quarterbacks, as Payne also threw one. So Alex Reyes intercepts it and returns it back 6 yards, and it's 1st and 10 at the 48 for Washingtonville with the ball back.
Reyes, the senior, the ball was tipped and he was just standing there. That's when your eyes get real big. You see the ball fluttering towards you, and he was able to make the grab.
So 1st and 10, and the Wizards up 28-6, 2:17 to go in the 3rd quarter. Starters still out there for good reason, must at least complete 3 quarters. You never know what can happen in football, and see how long he goes with the starters. Bell, Simaluka comes in motion. Bell and Ionino in the backfield. Handoff goes to Dane Bell to the left, and Dane Bell has not had his best game today for the Wizards. Castellano had the 35-yard run just moments ago here. They only scored a 3rd quarter, but Castellano has looked much better even on his very few carries tonight. Castellano's only had 3 carries for 38 yards. Dane Bell, on the other hand, has carried 3 times tonight for a negative mark, negative 6 yards.
Dan Stadler, you brought it up earlier, Tony, the fact that he wanted guys to play, for the most part, one side of the football to keep them fresh. This Washingtonville team looks very fresh, so I would say he's achieved that goal.
McCollum flank to the left. Simaluka in motion, comes near side. Pitch goes to Dane Bell again. And some positive yards for once for Dane Bell. We've got a player down. It's Beauvalet for Goshen. So an official's timeout. Let's see. Look for number 5 of Goshen in there. He's the player that is down. And Beauvalet actually got hit by his own player there in his left shoulder. It's run into by Joe Dembeck. So Beauvalet is down. There's an official's timeout on the field, and we're going to take a quick timeout. 28-6, Washingtonville on top. 1:20 to go in the 3rd quarter. You're watching the Time Warner Cable 6 Game of the Week.
You work hard, so does your family. Well, right now, you can save on a Maytag appliance that works with you. Choose a washer that really gets out stains, a dishwasher that virtually eliminates pre-washing, a range that bakes food evenly, or a refrigerator that keeps food fresh. Every Maytag is on sale, so you can relax and let us do the work.
Michael's Appliance Center, 557 East Main Street, Middletown.
Back at Gustafson Field, a 28-6 lead for Washingtonville. They have the ball coming up on a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. Rob Lopez, the junior QB, calling signals. He'll try the inside handoff to Ionino. Ionino powers his way ahead, close to another 1st down. Depending on the spot. See if he got it. And it is a 1st down. Ionino on the carry for the Wizards. Well, he hit the hole there. Got a great block, kick-out block, and powered his way past Dembeck, enough for the 1st down. Ionino tonight, just 2 carries. 3 carries, rather, for 7 yards. So the rushing attack hasn't been too good anyway for Washingtonville, besides the 35 run by Castellano. But when you have Rob Lopez tossing for 180-plus yards, well, it helps. Here comes Dane Bell, tries to turn the corner, got around Dembeck, and Bell's most productive run of the evening, or of the afternoon anyway. For those watching it Monday evening, it's of the evening. You see time running out here in the 3rd quarter, and I'm sure Wizards probably won't get another playoff. We will go to the end of 3 quarters. A 28-6 lead for the Washingtonville Wizards. 1 touchdown here in the 3rd quarter. It was on a 35-yard run by Chris Castellano. We'll be back with the 4th quarter. Right after this, you're watching the Time Warner Cable 6 Game of the Week.
Copier breaking down with the same old problem time and time again? Well, get your next copier at Chris Company. At Chris Company, we know copiers. Like our Cairo Ceramita 2530 that will copy, fax, print, scan, network, and much more. Here at our large location, we are big enough to service you and small enough to know you. And our trained technicians fully service all of our products we sell. Chris Company, serving Sullivan and Orange County for over 21 years.
Welcome back to the Time Warner Cable 6 Game of the Week. Tony Marino and Rick Schultz with you. Once again, the Goshen Gladiators trailing Washingtonville 28-6 here on homecoming weekend for Goshen, and the Wizards playing spoiler with that 28-6 lead and looking for more. Rob Lopez, 7 of 14, 181 yards, 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. 2 of those here in the second half. Handoff goes to Ionino, and great breakthrough there up front by that Goshen defense of getting to the backfield and stuffing Ionino.
Tristan Viss, the guy that got in there, and you could see the spacing was not as you would like it in the backfield for Washingtonville.
Stats through 3 quarters, Washingtonville all over on the scoreboard, 28-6. 57 of those 111 rushing yards for Goshen coming on 1 play. That was the Wadowiak touchdown. 181 passing yards, but you see the turnovers. We came into the second half with each team having just 1. 3rd down and 6. And could have been somebody lined up in the neutral zone there. Let's see who's, nope, it's going to go against Washington. We can tell by Lopez's reaction. False start. Lopez walks to the sideline. He'll get the play. I have a feeling the Wizards would like to put 1 more touchdown here up on the board. What the Wizards would like to do here is not only win this game and in no way embarrass Goshen, I can tell you that much. Dan Stadler, that's the farthest thing from his mind. But they'd like to at least send a message out to those other Class AA teams that as you come down the stretch here and you play us, that we're going to be competitive and we're going to give you a run. And I think Goshen putting a big, Washingtonville putting an odd number up on the scoreboard, say a 34-6, even 28-6 right now, well, it sends that message to the rest of those teams.
No question about it. Barry Manilow has a song trying to get that feeling again, and that's what Washingtonville wants, that winning feeling. It's a nice one.
Reaching back. Lopez, long call, try to pitch to Castellano. Castellano, running room again, down inside the 30 to the 26. Chris Castellano, the most productive runs for the Wizards today. Their rushing offense coming into that last carry had 85 yards on 14 carries. Excuse me, on 17 carries, but Castellano has got 2 big carries, one a 35-yard touchdown run, and that last one which went for 16 yards. So Castellano, 52 yards on 4 rushes in the ballgame. Rotating in and out with Bell. Castellano stays in there. Ionino also in there. Simaluka and McCollum, your flankers. Simaluka to the left, McCollum to the right. Handoff goes to Castellano. Trying to turn the corner, but he can't. Or can he? Still on his feet. Turning back, gets a block from Lopez. Trying to run the other way. This is a lot of running for no gain.
By the time he got to the far end, you could just feel for him. You knew he was getting a little bit tired. But what effort. Nice effort by Castellano.
It appeared as if Foot had him wrapped up, but he got his foot free from Foot and ran back across the other end. Take another look at this. As Lopez got the handoff there to Castellano, and he spun his way out from Foot, and then watched Lopez through the big block there and tried to spring him, but he ended up losing 5 yards on the play. 2nd down and 15 for the Wizards. They lead 28-6. 10 minutes, 15 seconds to go here in the ball game. Simaluka takes an inside handoff, and not much there. Goshen's front line coming through.
Looked like Lopez enjoyed delivering that block also. Quarterbacks don't get that chance very often. But every once in a while, you'll see a quarterback who just really relishes the chance to get out in front and deliver a block.
So 3rd and 15 from the 30 for the Wizards, who own a 28-6 lead. Touchdown receptions from Simaluka, 2 by McCollum, and then Castellano, a 35-yard touchdown run, the 9.5-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. That made it 28-6. Timeout. Rob Lopez has to call the timeout. Extra player. That's the wrong personnel out there, so they call a timeout. Timeout on the field, 9:36 to go in the ball game. Washingtonville with the lead. You're watching the Time Warner Cable 6 Game of the Week.
The confidence to smile, the desire to smile, the ability to smile, a reason to smile. If you want a new smile, call Doctors Massey and Hale. They will show you what your smile could look like in just 2 visits. You will be thrilled with your new smile. You'll have more confidence, feel better about yourself, and have a new reason to smile.
Call Massey & Hale today for a free consultation or visit their website at areasontosmile.com. Call Massey & Hale, and soon you too will have a reason to smile.
Welcome back to Gustafson Field. The Washingtonville Wizards 9 minutes and 36 seconds away from their first victory of the season. It would improve them to 1-4, while Goshen would drop to 2-3. See the Wizards there with a 28-6 lead, facing a 3rd and 15. Rob Lopez going to try the reverse, gave it to McCallum, who dropped the ball. Ricky McCallum going to have to make something out of nothing. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, still on his feet. We got a flag down on the play. Looks like a couple different holds there, and it's going to negate McCallum, but McCallum making something out of nothing there. Didn't get to the first down marker, but it's a block in the back against Washingtonville.
Well, McCallum was able to get more than most guys could because of his speed. Right after he bobbles this, watch how long it takes him to get to full speed. Not too long, because boom, right there, he is already at full acceleration. And you saw it right there, the block in the back.
The block in the back came out of the left side of your screen, and I think it was Lee Morrow who got called for the block in the back, and it brings it back 15 yards. And that's a spot foul, so 15 yards from the spot, it looks like, and 3rd and 29 for the Wizards.
What you teach a defender or a blocker or anybody, when you're trying to put a hit or a block on someone, you want to see the front of his numbers. You want to see the front of his jersey.
McCallum flanked to the left. Sinaluka out to the right. As he comes in motion from the split end position. Castellan on the backfield takes the pitch. Tries to turn the corner, powers inside the 45, down at the 42-yard line. And the Wizards are going to have to punt this ball away, and they'll play field position, ping Goshen back near their own goal line, at least try. As they'll send a punting unit out on 4th down after Castellano was unable to get the first down.
It looks to me as if Washingtonville has gotten a well-played game from their offensive line. The first 4 games this season, they've been hurt by defenses that use the stunts and a lot of tricks defensively. But it looks like they've done a nice job in this ball game.
Simaluka at his own 48-yard line to punt it away. Aman Sadiq back at the 15. And Jerry Beauvolet at the 15 also, waiting to return. They'll kick it Beauvolet's way. It's a high end-over-end kick. Ball up in the air, and it takes a Goshen bounce, and it's touched down at the 28-yard line. That's where Goshen will go to work. 8 minutes and 6 seconds to go here in this football game.
I mentioned the term stunt, which is what has given Washingtonville trouble this season, and it's no reference to Evel Knievel or anything. What it means is when a defense will kind of flip-flop and have 2 linemen, after the ball is snapped, they flip-flop and crisscross each other trying to throw you off, so you don't know who's going where as they attack the quarterback and the running backs. An offensive line has to keep their eyes out and be prepared for that. If guys flip-flop and crisscross each other, well, who's got who?
That's, I think, where it helps to have a little experience in Josh McElroy there to help the younger guys, 2 seniors on that line. And the rest of the guys haven't played a varsity game on that offensive line.
And McElroy is a luxury, too, because he can take 2 or 3 guys himself.
Backfield, a foot. Foot takes the handoff out over the 30 to the 34-yard line. Pickup of 6 on the play.
8 minutes to win.
Brian Foote has played a good game, has an interception, has rotated in and out with Dembeck in the backfield. And one of the stars for Goshen on this dim afternoon. Quick handoff there by Turry, stuffs it right in the gut. And Turry's going to grow, there's no doubt. In a couple years where you are, as a senior, we're definitely going to hear Nick Turry's name when it comes to mind about top quarterbacks in Section 9. Pitch goes to Beauvolet. Beauvolet near the first down markers, got it in a little bit more, stopped out near the 44. And he took a late hit in there, and there was no flag, but that whistle blew, and Beauvolet took a shot up high to that same shoulder that he came off the field with moments ago.
After that pitch was thrown by Turry, there were 2 super interior blocks delivered by the line of Goshen.
So 1st and 10 for Goshen. Well, it's been a while since they had a first down. That may be the first one of the second half. As far as Turry goes passing, he is 1 for 4, just 4 yards through the air. 2 interceptions. Turry pitches it, and with Dowiak and Beauvalet mixed it up, and this one's going back the other way. The Wizards defense gets the score. Joe Sapelli. He returns that one 33 yards and a touchdown. 34-6 Wizards.
Well, that mix-up hurts. I'm not sure who the intended runner was supposed to be on that pitch, and I don't think they even know at this point. We'll take a look at the replay and see what happened in the backfield.
With Dowiak and Beauvalet were both back there. And this one goes 39 yards back. Let's give him an extra 5 yards there because he earned it. So Zappelli takes it back. 39 yards on the fumble recovery for a touchdown. And the Wizards lead 34-6. Simaluka out there to attempt the extra point. 6 minutes, 47 seconds to go in the game. Kick is up, and it's no good. Wide to the right. We snuck it outside the right upright there, so that's no good, and it's 34-6. The Wizards are on top.
Come on, let's go, let's go!
So for Goshen, just they'll put the offense back out there, and unfortunately, we've talked about it too many times here in the second half, and just pride for Goshen. I mean, you're in front of the homecoming crowd, maybe a bigger crowd than usual. For Goshen, it's been a tough year. They lost to Cornwall and to Port Jervis in Class A in the league, so they're 0-2 in the league. They did beat Sports Science Academy 3 weeks ago, and then last week defeating Saugerties here, and then not exactly coming back to reality against a double-A team. That's a tough task for these Gladiators, and fortunately they couldn't handle the task today. They trail 34-6. Here's another look at this. You see the pitch, and with Dowiak and Beauvalet, I'm not sure which one knew who was getting what, or perhaps Turry didn't know who it was going to. It was a no-look pass by him. It kind of reminded you of a no-look basketball pass, is exactly what it was, and goes back the other way.
Well, this is going to be a spot for Goshen where the players, and especially the underclassmen, they want to prove to their coach, you know what, coach, even though we're down by almost 30, it's been a tough game for us, I'm still going to give the effort, because coaches will take notice of that. Certainly when they watch the videotapes, they will.
Simaluka to kick it away. Hotsko, Sadiq, and with Dowiak back for the Gladiators. Check that, that's Razavi back, and it's taken by Wadowiak. Wadowiak out over the 25, short of the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 for Goshen, 6:42 to go in the ball game, and they trail by 28 points. It's a 34-6 lead for Washingtonville. Wadowiak, a 57-yard touchdown run in the first quarter that pulled Goshen within 8-6 as the extra point try failed, the two-point conversion try failed. And that's as close as they've been. It's been all Wizards since then. Really, that second, even though the first half, at the half, it was 22-6, it was much closer than that. Goshen was really in this, and then the wheels came off here in the second half for the Gladiators, and they were wobbling through the first half. Handoff goes to Foot, and Foot taken down. Very short gain.
I think if you're Goshen right now, what you want to do is build something that you can kind of hang your hat on this week in practice. You know, build a drive, a nice drive where some guys contribute. They started off here with this run. You know, you want to have a good feeling of something you did positively. They did some nice things in this game, but to have a drive to kind of cap it off would be nice for them.
I think their defense overall played very well. It's just they were hurt by Rob Lopez's passing attack. Lopez can air it out, and Goshen knew that coming in. Sent a man in motion to the left. Handoff goes to Beauvalet, trying to get around the corner. Picks up a few yards out of the 35 to the 36-yard line. Short of the first down, a 3rd and 2 for the Wizards.
Just to get that good feeling back again. You know, you get a first down, you're starting to feel nice about your effort. Then maybe you put together a good drive, and you feel good going into the week of practice.
I was listening to Pete Signorelli, who was leading the calisthenics before the game for the Gladiators, and he said, fellas, don't let this week of practice go by. And you hear that a lot from captains or even coaches telling their players going into the game. Don't let the week of practice and all the hard work you put in go by. And for Goshen, unfortunately, that's how it's going to feel after this game.
So the man in motion to the left. Handoff goes to Beauvois up the middle, sniffing for the first down marker. And I don't think he got it. He may have come up just short. Coming up on 5 minutes to go in this ball game. For Washingtonville, it's going to be their first win. They're going to go back into Class AA, where they are 0-4, so it's a long way for them to go, and a lot of things have to happen for them to even think about getting near a title race. But what they can do is play spoiler and start getting some respect.
Washingtonville, they know that teams are going to view them as a team they should beat. They're going to take them lightly. But conversely, some people thought they would take Goshen lightly, and they said that is, in fact, not the case. We know they're formidable.
3rd and 1. Turi hands it off to the left. Dembeck got the first down. He pulls up just short of the 40-yard line. 1st and 10 for Goshen. We'll stop the clock to move the chains. 4 minutes, 21 seconds to go in the ball game.
First down for Goshen. 1st and 10.
If you could go back and think, Rick, where maybe this game turned, I think we talked about it at halftime when Brian Foote came up with the interception. Goshen got inside the 15. They were forced to try a long field goal, a 39-yard field goal, which was no good. But is that probably where this game turned?
No question about it. Early in that 3rd quarter, when these teams were throwing the ball back and forth, the team that could capitalize and finally take advantage was going to be the one that really controlled this second half, and that's been Washingtonville.
That ball came loose, and it's picked up, and it's going back the other way. Zappelli still on his feet. How about a second touchdown from the second fumble recovery? There is a flag down, but Zappelli was looking for his second fumble return for a touchdown. It's a block in the back. It goes against Washingtonville, so it'll bring this one back. It will negate the touchdown, but Washingtonville will take over the ball, take over possession.
That infraction was on our side of the field towards the left, and it was clear as day, block in the back. Very similar to that earlier penalty here in the second half.
Turi, you'll see, he almost threw this ball forward as he was trying. He lost it once. You'll see him bobble it once, loses the ball there, got it back, and then tried to push it forward, and there's nothing you can do right by throwing that ball there. And then Zappelli, Johnny on the spot there, or in this case, Joey on the spot, and it was a block in the back right there.
Yep.
Looked like Iannino. They may have had the block in the back.
That's tough. You have your momentum going that way, and then all of a sudden you find the man you're trying to block facing away from you.
I want to take that back because Iannino was not on the field for that, and I don't want to accuse him of anything he didn't do. First and 10 for the Wizards from the Goshen 25-yard line. 6 turnovers, I believe, for Goshen on the day, and you're not going to win any games with 6 turnovers. Inside handoff. There's Iannino. And could have been but he had a face mask there. Instead, he had his shoulder pads as he was pulled down. 3.5 to go here in the ball game. 34-6. Washingtonville's going to escape. Not escape. They're going to run out of here with their first win of the season.
It's going to be a different week of classes, no question about it, for the Washingtonville Wizards. The guys will have a little bit more fun when they joke around with each other during the week, passing in the hallways, because now they will be a winning football team.
Alex Reyes is into the ball game as Dan Stadler getting a chance to rest some of his starters. Reyes, who was in that quarterback competition with Lopez, he's in there calling the signal now. Hands it off to Dane Bell. Bell's got a little green ahead. Bell sniffing for the end zone. He will come up just short. He gets down inside the 5-yard line. So the Wizards looking to pad this score here, and we talked about this before, is don't think these Wizards aren't looking to send some sort of a message here to the rest of Class AA.
Call them out.
Don't look past us. 34-6. And one thing you can tell by them not putting the ball up in there is they're not trying to embarrass anybody. They're just running the ball. And you couldn't blame them if they wanted maybe Alex Reyes to put one up here as far as just trying to get him some work. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to run this ball. Iannino, and now Bell takes the handoff, and Dane Bell is in. It's a 2-yard touchdown run for Dane Bell. That makes it 40-6, Washingtonville.
2-yard carry.
2 minutes, 27 seconds to go in this ball game.
They look fresh up front, the blocking, the effort. Washingtonville looks as if this is the first quarter, and a lot of that is because they play one way for the most part. Guys don't have to play non-stop offense and defense.
Get off the side, Steve!
The extra point try by Simaluka, who got the scoring going today, and he hooks another one just to the right. We've got a running into the kicker, which is going to be assessed on the kickoff. It goes against Goshen, or will they get another try? They'll get another try. See Bell there just going off tackle to the left, around the end and into the end zone for the 2-yard touchdown run. Nice push up front there. Curl in on the defensive end, and then Bell just walked his way in and even, well, took a hit. He'll take it. He got the touchdown. 40-6 Washingtonville. Simaluka as the penalty running into the kickers, given half the distance to the goal line. Simaluka going to attempt the extra point. And Wizards, McCollum was trying to run back out on the field for the Wizards. He wants to get him on any scoring opportunity. They needed a player there for special teams. Simaluka, kick is up, and he got it this one. Second time's a charm here for Simaluka. Boots it through. 41-6 Washingtonville. It's been all good today for the Wizards.
They were able to regain their composure after some of those turnovers early on here, certainly in this third quarter. And you have to feel good if you're a fan of the Washingtonville Wizards. Certainly after the 4 losses, playing some tough teams, to come in here and get a road win on this Saturday afternoon. Nice job by the fellas.
Wizards offense today, 117 yards on the ground, 24 carries there. And through the air, 181 yards by Rob Lopez. And I believe all those yards were in the first half for Lopez, 181 yards. He did have the 3 picks. He did have 3 touchdown tosses as well, 2 rushing touchdowns. As far as receptions go, Ricky McCallum, 3 receptions at 108 yards, leading the way. Simaluka, 3 receptions, 54 yards, including a touchdown. Morrow, 1 reception, 19 yards. Ionino did not have a reception, nor did Bell out of the backfield. Well, the Wizards a complete game.
And I think McCollum has been relatively quiet. Just those 3 catches, the one over the middle, and then the 2 corner routes where he got a touchdown on each.
Simaluka to kick it away. I believe the 7th time today. Taken by Wadowiak, trying to turn the corner at the 25, and not going to happen. Good special teams coverage. Josh Walters on the tackle for the Wizards. So Goshen going to go back out there with 2 minutes and 21 seconds to go in the ball game. And they trail 41-6. Nick Turry, the sophomore, going to go back out there and finish this game for Goshen. And the Washingtonville defense